Hello, beautiful children of the stars. Today we're going to continue the discussion about the Draconians. And today I'm going to talk about how you can recognize a Draconian soul in your life. Maybe you have a family member, a friend, even parents or children, co-workers, people you see on the street, a boss. They can be Draconian souls. So, in this video, we'll talk about how you can recognize them and why they are even in your life. You are divine. Thank you so much for joining. Why don't you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a single juicy starseed video coming out? And why don't you hit the like if you're excited about this video? Alright, so let us jump right into the subject. How to know a Draconian soul? First of all, Draconian souls incarnate in human bodies in society as normal people. That question was asked a lot. So, Draconian souls do tend to incarnate as behind-the-scenes powerful people in powerful families. As I said in that big video I did about the power structure of the world, who rules the world, behind the ones that you see that are in power are Draconian royal bloodline families, right? But those are not the only ones. Those are the ones who are very powerful, in control, and those know who they are, right? Just as we, starseeds, at some point awaken, know who we are. The Draconians are also starseeds who are incarnating in a cycle of lives on Earth, and some of the most powerful, aware ones know who they are, but a lot of Draconian souls incarnated don't know who they are or what they are. And I know this because I work with a lot of souls every day, and I've had Draconian negative souls come to me. And in the end, I couldn't work with them because basically I can only work with positive souls who are connected to their divine soul blueprint, because that's the type of work that I do in the Akashic Records. I work with the light, with divinity, with the divine soul blueprint. So basically Draconian souls are negatively oriented. They have a different soul blueprint. Their soul blueprint is not connected to the divine. Their soul blueprint is connected to the dark because they are dark souls. So they do not have that connection to God, creator, source, the divine, angels and guides. They don't. You might feel sorry for them, but that is what they chose. So the Draconians, as a negative soul group, are incarnating here on Earth. And a lot of Draconian souls are incarnating in normal families, in just very regular normal families. You know, your neighbor could be a Draconian, your boss could be a Draconian. And many of these are not aware. Just like a lot of starseeds or other people who are walking around, they don't know who they are. They're just kind of going with the flow. They're living their lives. They're having good lives, bad lives, and they don't really know why. And a lot of Draconian souls are like that as well. And there are several that I know of, that I have met, I have seen, who are not aware that they're Draconian, and they're not aware that they're even negative souls. So, Draconian souls, first of all, can seem like normal people, okay? Seem like normal people. Okay, what I mean by this is they're not always these evil, dark, like, you know, you imagine people where it's like, wow, this is an evil person. No, Draconian souls are often very beautiful people, very beautiful, or people who have very normal traits. They can seem very social, very kind, very charming, very beautiful, very bright. This is how they can look, okay? So not all Draconians are very, very evil and are perpetuating evil. There's evil ones and there's not so evil ones, okay? So they can seem like normal people. So at first glance, they seem very charming. They seem very, very social. And one reason why Draconians can actually live relatively normal lives without wreaking havoc is because of the matrix, okay? Because of the matrix that we're living in. So we're living in the matrix. Let's see, this is you, and there's all other people around you. there's society, and we're constantly exchanging energy, life force energy. We're constantly exchanging energy. We are all living in the spider web of the matrix. And so it is normal for human society to have an energetic exchange all the time, back and forth. If you think about it, all the people that you know, you're constantly exchanging energy, good energy, bad energy, back and forth and back and forth. So we are all living in the matrix. And most people are actually interchanging around 95% of their life force energy with others instead of getting it from divine source. Right? We all think, oh, we're being fed from divine source, the chi, the energy is coming from the heavens. But we don't tap into a lot of that because we don't need it, because we're feeding and refeeding off the energy of the collective, of individual people, of society, right? Of, let's say, organizations, of groups, of the collective. Right? We are feeding off energy of others in an interchange. Now, a soul that does not have access to divine source energy, right? Let me put that in yellow. Let me put that in yellow. So divine source energy, the light codes, the chi that we're getting from divine source. A soul that does not have access to this feeds 100% off of the energy of others. Okay, 100%. So, a society that is constantly feeding and refeeding energy is perfect for a draconian soul or any other negative soul, because it's easy for them to stay in the center of attention and get all of their energy from other people. Like they're giving energy, taking energy, giving energy, taking energy. But in the end, the Draconians are always taking more than they're giving because they don't have a life force. They don't have a creator source, God spark, where they are able to receive energy from above. So they receive 100% of their energy from the matrix. So as we are so entangled in the matrix in society, they can easily move within society without being detected. It's just that they take a little more. They take a little more. So how you can know a draconian soul is that they seem to be sucking energy a lot. If you know them, they seem to be a little bit draining. They seem to take a little more than they give. So think about an energetic exchange of someone who is draining you, right? And a lot of people say, oh, those are narcissists. A lot of draconians are narcissists. Not all of them. Not all Draconians are narcissists. Not all narcissists are draconians. But I define a narcissist as a negative soul who is in full service to self and who's perpetuating negativity, right? So other soul groups or other souls that are also of a negative orientation can be narcissists. But what all negative souls have in common is that they take a little more energy. So a draconian soul may seem like very, very positive and very charming. And they do this in part because then they receive a lot of positive energy and attention, and they can feed off that. So some draconian souls don't even have to perpetuate a lot of negativity or be mean or be this like evil person in the background like this. They can be very charming, they can be very nice, they can be very beautiful, and people just throw themselves at these draconians, at these charming people. People love to give them their energy and attention. And that's how a negatively oriented draconian soul can live a perfectly normal life in society. Now, it happens that the draconian soul group in itself, inherently, are aggressive. They do have a predatory nature. They are based on fear, their energy exchange, but they're also very loyal. They like to abide by certain laws. So with the draconians, they like to incarnate in very structured environments. Okay, so if there is a company with a hierarchy, especially military. I mean, the military is a perfect breeding ground for Draconian souls because it has the aggressive component, it has the negative fear component, the destructive component, and the hierarchy, right? So that's where you can find a lot of Draconian souls, in the police force, in the military, in places where there's a lot of structure. They like that. There are also Draconians, though, that are just the very regular everyday Joe, right? The very normal, regular people. And if they are not able to get enough life force and attention, right, from their surroundings, and if they're hungry for more energy, that's when things can start to go south. So even a Draconian soul who's born, who just kind of wants to mind their own business, when they don't get enough energy, when they don't cause enough emotional energy for them to receive and feed off of, then they can start to do things to create more energy for themselves. So for example, if you're parents and you have a Draconian child, that's possible. That happens. Two positively oriented parents and they have a Draconian negatively oriented child. That child will be one who constantly wants attention, who constantly does something to get attention, to get a lot of emotion, to get a lot of feeding possibilities for its soul, right? And if the positive attention getting doesn't work, then the negative attention getting starts. The drama, the cruelty, the lies. Because, I mean, most Draconian souls do thrive on negative energy because they're negatively oriented, right? They're not attached to the light. They're not beings of light. They are beings of the dark. So they do thrive on negative energies like fear, hopelessness, terror, any negative emotions that are like that burst. They like to feed off that. So if a Draconian soul is a little bit parched, is hungry, then it will cause something. It will cause a flare up of emotion in another person, and so it can take that energy. And obviously, human beings are easily manipulated. They can keep doing things that cause a flare up of pain or trauma or terror, and they can easily feed off that. So the Draconian souls who are seemingly normal, you can recognize them because something will seem off about them. Something will seem strange. They all usually do have some aspects in their lives that are skewed, that are not normal, that are weird, that are negative. So they could be the life of the party, but as you get to know them more and more, you will find that there's something strange. They're doing things that are not quite in accordance to love and light. I mean, the Draconian negative souls, they are not connected to the light. They will not be able to be connected to the light. If you talk to them, they will not believe in that. There's a lot of spiritual people on YouTube who are Draconian negative souls, right? There are some, and they can help, right? Even a Draconian negative soul can help, can seem very empathetic, but in the end, if you ask them, are you connected to divine love, light, and truth, to the archangels of the light? They're not going to say yes, because they can't do that. Now, a lot of Draconians do feel that they are spiritual, and they even think that they are positive and connected to the light, but they're tapping into the false light. They're tapping into the false light, and I've spoken to a few, and they always seem to have problems in truly tapping in. They always have disasters happening in their lives. There's a series of events in a Draconian's life that is just not right because they are negatively oriented. So a Draconian soul will oftentimes grow up with abuse and trauma and problems and difficulties. Okay, so those are some of the things that once you get to know someone, you will feel something is off. I mean, if I meet someone now, these days, I can tell, ooh, I get the vibe, I get the shivers. I'm like, I can tell that they're a negative soul. I know some people in my circle of friends that are negative souls, that are Draconians as well. And I recognize them, and the ones that I personally know are the ones that have unbelievable cycles of drama and problems. Okay, because that is who they are. They are perpetuators and creators and victims at the same time. So a lot of Draconian souls will have cycles of victimhood. Terrible things always seem to happen in their lives. Often they grow up with abuse, like I said, but often they will draw onto themselves continuing cycles of trauma, abuse. They will have suicides in their family. They will have family members with problems. They will have health problems themselves. They will have addictions. They will have all that. Oh, look how nice. The sun is coming out now. Wow. We need a bit of sunshine when we're talking about this kind of stuff. So for you to just tune into that energy, that Draconian energy, that reptilian energy, because the Draconians, the negative ones, do not have an emotional body. Their heart is cold. They don't have empathy. It's very strange. You will feel their coldness. They will not care. They will not have the same kinds of feelings as we do, right? Now, I do have to mention that not all Draconians are negative. They're not all negative. There are Draconians who have opted to connect to the light and who have completely turned around, and they're so loving, so beautiful. I always feel a Draconian that has turned back to the light 100% has turned back into a dragon, right? Because they come from the dragons. The fallen dragons are the Draconians. So once they connect back to the light, for me, they become dragons again. They are able to regain the characteristics and the talents of the dragons. And the dragons have a beautiful big heart. They feel so much love. They're beings of light and power. And a Draconian that has turned back to the light becomes a dragon again. That's how I see it. So if you're a positive Draconian soul and you're listening to these messages where I'm talking about the Draconians, it's the negative ones. And if you are a positive Draconian soul, then you're not a Draconian anymore. You're a dragon being again. You have turned back into the beautiful creature of your ancestry, of your positive ancestry, right? So the typical Draconian souls, how we imagine them, they exist as well, of course. They are the predators. They're the mass murderers. They're the ones who just perpetuate negativity and cause trauma, cause harm. They're the ones who like to find someone to be with. They love to have relationships where they manipulate in a way that they can constantly draw energy off their partner. So if you've been in a relationship that just drains you and drains you and drains you, and this resonates, then that person is or was probably a negative Draconian soul, right? I mean, there's a certain energy around them. For me, a Draconian soul has this certain nightmarish, dark, deep and dark energy that at the same time can be very seductive and alluring and interesting. It's like, we are drawn to deep, dark, mysterious things, and they truly are like that. They are deep, dark, mysterious, but nightmarish. So just tune in a little bit to the people around you who seem to be draining you, where you feel there's something not quite right, where you don't see any light around them, where these people have these tendencies to be cold. I mean, we call negative souls service to self souls for a reason. Service to self is they are serving their own interest first and foremost. And they'll do anything to survive. They'll do anything to get what they want. They will do the most horrible things to get what they want. So the question is, why do we positive light beings even have Draconians in our family, around us, persecuting us? How is this possible? And there's one huge reason, and that reason is karmic ties. If you have a family member who is a Draconian negative soul, most likely 99% of you have karmic ties and agreements with these souls. I've worked with a lot of souls, especially from Hadar, Beta Centauri, that planet of the beautiful souls of love that was actually destroyed by the Draconians. And many of the Draconians of those times took the Hadarans as prisoners and they took them along to planet Earth. They actually brought them here. And these Haydarans have many, many different ties and bonds and agreements with these Draconians. And so the Draconians are a little bit like bloodhounds. The Draconians, like I said, they're very powerful. And once they have you under their thumb, once they have you like under their control, once they have an agreement with you, they're not going to let go. They're going to find you. I've worked with many Haydaran clients who are actually born as children of Draconian parents, or who have Draconian partners or bosses. And they have long-lasting karmic ties and bonds. That means that these souls have incarnated again and again, lifetime after lifetime, some even going back hundreds of lifetimes to the planet Haydar, where the Draconians first overpowered them and took them to Earth. Many have ties and bonds going so far back that when they come again into a human body to be reborn, a karmic vow or agreement or tie or constraint or spell with a Draconian is in place, and that's why they are born into a family of that same Draconian. So the Draconian can again live a life of power over this soul. So if you feel that you have very negative parents, perhaps, I've had a lot of comments, or people in your life who this sounds like, it's because you have an agreement with them. And it's important for you to to annul that agreement, or else next lifetime you're going to be born again with these Draconians in your life. And like I said, I've had clients who I've looked into their Akashic record. They have had 50, 60, 100 lifetimes with a specific Draconian soul, always in bondage, always subdued, always suffering under this person in different relationships. So if you feel that you are influenced or have been influenced by a negative Draconian soul in any which way, you have to, first of all, become aware of it, and then do a ritual in which you say, asking the angels and your guides to come in. That's what I always tell you. You are empowered to do your own ritual, okay? Asking them to come in and to undo and to annul any contracts, ties, vows, or bonds with this soul. You can do this. And what you have to do is you have to then take some action and get out of there. You have to physically empower yourself if you haven't already done that. If you've already managed to get away out of this person's control, it's good, but then please do your cutting cord ritual. Do your ritual of annulling any contracts with this soul. Because that's the reason why you incarnated again and again, lifetime after lifetime, up to today, right? Under the influence of a Draconian soul. Or if it wasn't a very strong contract, if you've managed to almost free yourself, then it could be a Draconian just coming in and trying to do something. So that's what happens. Also, a lot of light workers these days who are really trying to shine their light may at some point be attacked or infiltrated by a Draconian soul, or by someone who is sent by a Draconian soul, because you're going against the system. You are trying to shine your light so bright. So all light workers at some point, I feel, may be attacked, may have a Draconian on their path, or trying to bring them down. But you are the powerful creator of your life. So if you're aware of this, and just say no, don't buy into it, don't feed into it, shine your light very strongly. If you are very awake and aware, then they cannot really do anything. So if you have anyone in your life who sounds like this, who is manipulative, who doesn't seem quite right, who seems to have a little bit of a darker agenda, or who's very shiny and bright and beautiful, but you feel this darkness, you feel this, I always kind of feel this kind of nightmarish, weird, semi-nostalgic feeling, like it's almost as though I'm tapping into all the nightmares of the collective. I feel that when I feel or see a Draconian soul, when I look in the internet, when I'm checking someone's record, I get this feeling. this feeling that, oh, no, 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 no. So you must trust your feelings. You have to trust your feelings. It's almost like you have this cold breeze going by you. If a Draconian walks by, it's like this icy breeze where you're like, oh, right? And you will feel it. You will feel it. So if you get that shivery kind of feeling, if you get any kind of intuitive shudder, trust yourself. You have to trust that. It's so important that you trust your intuition because they are so deceptive. They can come in the most beautiful, seductive, wonderful. I mean, they're very physical too. So trust your intuition. If you get this weird feeling, just think of some of the traits and think, this may be a Draconian. And just get out of there. Just leave. Like I said, you can't help them. You can't do anything for them. Just leave. If there's a Draconian negative soul, just say, adios, no thank you. And if you can't leave at that moment, just blend them out. Concentrate on moving forward and they will fade from your life. That's the only way you can handle a negative Draconian soul. Just get away from them. And if they're trying to overpower you in the moment, you have to stand your ground and say, I know who you are. I see you. You can't do anything because I see you and I'm a powerful creator. And then they will leave. They will leave because they don't like being outed. Draconians don't like being outed. But like I said, the best thing is just to leave, to get away, to do your ritual, to do your empowerment ritual, to cut ties, bonds, contracts, and then to move forward in a positive way. So let me know if you think that you have anyone in your life who is a Draconian. Do you think you have any ties, bonds, contracts? Does that resonate? If it does, let me know down below, and know that you are of the light, and the light is always stronger than the dark. Always. You can empower yourself. You can free yourself. You don't have to participate in any kind of negative cycle. You can always free yourself. You can free yourself of your karma as well. Thank you so much. Natasha, Cosmic Empress. Ciao for now.